And the first game that we have here is called Pebbles, and this one is a trick-taking area control game where each player is going to have a hand of cards, and each one of those cards is going to have a different power. On your turn, you can play a card to try and win a trick in order to gain a love token. That's worth a victory point at the end of the game, but you'll also be able to take a few actions as well, because the way that this game works is that the lead player is going to be determining the trump suit, and this is a game where really the trump suit is the only one that matters, because you don't have to follow suit if you don't want to, but it's only the highest card of that suit that can win the trick. The reason that you might want to play something other than the lead suit is because you do get to take 2 actions afterwards, and one of those actions is to use the power of your played card, so you might care more about the power than the actual suit of the card. But another action is to place a unit on a space that matches the card that you just played. So if there's a particular space that you want to take control of, that might be another reason to play a different card. But the final action that you could choose to take is to just gain another card. Players will be gaining victory points for the different tokens they collected, as well as controlling those different spaces and territories across those different tiles. And the next game offered in this campaign is called Flock, and in this game players are going to be dealt a hand of cards, and the remaining cards are going to be going into a draw pile. You're going to have a few of those cards revealed, and once per game each player is allowed to refresh those revealed cards. But on a player's turn, they'll be able to draw a card from the display or from the deck, and then they'll be able to take 2 actions. The different actions you can perform are to Flock, which allows you to play any set of 2 or more matching birds from your hand into the space in front of you, or instead you can choose to Migrate, which allows you to play 1 card from your hand in front of you, merging it with any of the cards that are already in play. But also, if any other players have matching cards in their display, then they're going to have to give 1 of those cards to you. Final action you can perform is to Roost, which allows you to play a run of 3 birds of the same suit in front of you. And the nice thing about this is that you can take cards from your hand, from the shared display, or from the cards that you already put out on the table. The other nice thing about roosting birds is that these birds cannot be stolen. Players are going to be gaining victory points for their collected cards, and then the player with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. Also in this campaign, we have Birds on Birds, and this one is a dexterity stacking game where each player is going to have their own pool of different bird tokens that they're going to be trying to get rid of throughout the game. And the first player to either get rid of all their birds or to reach 20 points is going to be the player that wins. The way the game works is that you're going to be selecting one of the birds from your supply and then placing it out on the shared stack of birds. It's not going to be much of a stack at the start of the game, but it will as the game carries forward. If no birds fall off, then that's going to be moving you up the point track, but if any birds fall off at all, then you're not going to be getting any points, and instead you're going to be taking those birds into your supply, putting you at a disadvantage. And the last game in this campaign is called Rook Requiem, and this one is another trick-taking game, but this one plays over 3 rounds, and you're going to have 12 tricks per round. The way the game works is that you're going to be determining trump and then dealing cards to all the players while also revealing a ghost card. You're going to be playing tricks following the normal trick-taking rules, which is where you have to follow suit if you're able to. Otherwise, you can play any card that you want, but if you do play a trump, then that's going to be worth more than any other suits. But there is one twist to the rules here, because there is also the rook cards, and if you play those, they're going to be matching the suit of whichever card was played last. The winner takes the trick as well as a ghost card, and the cool thing about these ghost cards is that they can be positive or negative, which means that sometimes you're trying to win the trick, while other times you might be trying to avoid it. Another neat thing about these cards is that they can also grant you special abilities that you'll be able to use throughout the game, so these ghost cards are going to be adding a lot of variety between rounds. And those are the games offered in the Bird series, and if you are interested to check this one out, I will have it linked down below, and you can click to get notified.